it looks as beautiful as like a leaf on a flower. You know, you
amazing
sort of got
carbon.
that absolute stunning, like natural look.
The people, the cars, the different stands, it's like, it's enormous, but it's such a close community.
Bogey here is responsible for one of the most amazing things here stateside. Oh, you good? So
Stretch it out.
that's how we're going to start it. We're going straight into this. So guys, it's the last 2 days of Sema, and also these videos will not disappoint. The last two blew up like we never imagined, but there's still so much to see. Let's go check it out. So before we get into our amazing video, what I want to do is just touch up on where this car is at in its transition. The motor, the transmission, the prop shaft is in, the radiator and its cooling purposes are back there. Also, the battery kit is installed in the rear. It is all coming together. At the end of this video, we're going to come back when it's fully complete. These guys are smashing it out of the park. Go check out Legacy EV in the link below. Let's go. So one of my favorite vehicles in the American history is the Hummer H1, that original Humvee vehicle the military used. But when I walked in here today, I bumped into this badass Hummer H2. But we wouldn't be here at Sema on our last day without the legends at Car Vertical. Car Vertical are a company which combine companies like HPI and Carfax. And what they do is combine over 900 data sources to give you clarity and save you money. If this car has had its mileage changed, if this car has had any damage or had any financial issues at all, you can find out on Car Vertical. What I've found here is another vehicle. This is a Hummer H3. It has had severe body damage. But in reality, this car looks pretty to me. I would buy that, I'd put my kids in it. But thanks to Car Vertical, going through their app, I can see it's had no mileage correction, but it has had a bad accident. Car Vertical keeps you safe, and today you can save 10% if you use the code HARDUP. HARDUP is your code, you put it in, you save 10%, and you can secure your money. You're not gonna lose money on your car, you're gonna keep your family safe. And let's get back to Sema. So Sema 2019, I came here with the iconic NAS Charger, NASCAR stock car chassis on top of an original used movie car called Fast and Furious, right? That movie for me was amazing, and the Dodge Charger was the dream. I never imagined just a few years later I'd be here at the Sema show again with the Hero car. This is from the first movie Fast and Furious, and this is Hero 001. This car is absolutely furious and fast. It's a 1970 Dodge Charger with a BDS supercharger hanging out the hood. This is a real movie car. You can tell by small details. The supercharger itself is not real. The rubber ring around the hood is actually fake, and it is molded into the hood. The flaps aren't connected to the engine or the throttle in any way. And this car has finesse from 30 feet. Badass car at Sema 23. So even walking around this absolutely mammoth of a car show, you bump into absolute legends from the UK. Tim, how's it going, man? You all right?
It's good to see you. And exactly that. The crazy thing is you go from one place to the next, and the people you see here, the people, the cars, the different stands, it's like, it's enormous, but it's such a close community.
It is. I mean, we've known each other for a few years, but you went to a party, you go to these parties, right? And you bump into some people that you've always dreamed of meeting, or you know so well from back home. And there's that, there's no middle ground. There's like people you don't know or people you know of like really well.
I always find with the different events, I go to a lot of different car events around the world, all sorts of different things, how crazy it is that we have this almost traveling circus. And when you're here in Las Vegas, it's literally a circus. But traveling, you know what I mean, from one place to the next.
And it's nuts. Like, I'm there filming with Richard, having some banter, and Freddie walks over, I slap his ass just to wind him up.
I might have a video of you doing that.
He's there giggling. So Sema's really hard. So the most important thing about Sema I find is there's no middle ground. There's projects that are unfinished or there's bespoke finished wow cars.
Yeah.
Is there anything that's really jumped out to you? And your car looks absolutely stunning up there at the booth. And
Yeah, I mean, but my car's easy, right? I just bought a car from a dealership and it's as it was. I mean, we've added Ceramic Pro PPF to it, but it's not modified.
Yeah.
You know, when you see projects like Testa, you know, the electric Testarossa from Richard, and you see Freddie's P1 that's in the works, and you know how many hours these guys are putting in. And there are two sides to it, because there's the one side of actually doing the work to the car, but then there's the other side of filming doing the work to the car.
Oh my God, yeah.
Which is such a further degree of complexity to the whole process to actually be able to bring people along and not just say, boom, here's the finished product.
Okay.
And I don't think enough credit is necessarily given to that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we both have been speaking with Freddie about the last few days before that thing shipped out to come here. And that's not a finished car. But even to get an unfinished car presented in an unfinished state is still an immense amount of work, and then putting all the videos together. In terms of cars that have stood out, you know, I'm more looking at the supercar-y type things, and there's such a cool mix here of, you know, at one end you have the P1 GTR, the Huayra, the 918, the hypercar stuff. At the other end, you have just rows upon rows of these lifted, wide-body, illuminated pickup trucks. I have no idea what they are, but I look at them just like, America!
Smart machine. Fuck yeah! You know, one of my favorite things about Sema is when you walk around and you bump into like cars like TJ Hunt's car. He's got his, is it the 4 Series BM, the M4? And that car to me is, it's kind of a little bit boring, really. You know, we're so used to like the BMWs.
Yeah, but you know what's not boring about it? It's a street car with the hydraulic jacks.
Oh my God!
You just lift up a street car.
It's amazing, and like the conversion, the body kit, the color, how he's done it in such an OE kind of fashion. Yeah, looks absolutely gorgeous. But
I love that I'm going to say the YouTube community, the social media community has come together here at this event like no other event in the world.
You got like Kindig over here, you got Chip Foose, all the OE guys that were here from the beginning, the people we grew up watching.
Mix in with everybody that we know from our space as well. You know, all of the Tavareshes and the TJs and the Adam LZs and the Alex Choys, and just like everybody is here at once. And obviously now we have our little like British army.
Our little syndicate, the English.
I've been coming to this for like 10 years, so it's cool for me to you know, other people are now coming over for it. You, Adam, Matt.
It's crazy.
Everyone.
I mean, I've been building cars at Sema since 2015, which not a lot of people knew, right? And then I was speaking to AJ.
My first year was before you.
I know, you beat me. You beat everyone, you're the best.
I'm joking. No, I'm the grandpa of this world.
The funny thing is, we were talking to AJ from Overhauling, Chip Foose's like main presenter, and she was like, the main problem we had is we had like a 7-day build of a car, and if you've done it here at different events, and people didn't understand the blood, the sweat, the tears that go into the builds. But at least with the influences, you do get the mess ups, the mayhem, the craziness, and all that stuff, and it all falls together, and you get to see that. So that's one thing that I appreciate what you've done for the community. Like, you go around the world now, every single day is a video, every day is something different. But I can't thank you enough for what you do.
We're all enjoying it. It's been good fun.
Love this guy, one of my good friends, absolute legend. Let's go check out the rest of the circus. That is Sema. There are things at Sema that you know are going to be there, and there's stuff that is just completely bonkers. This car here is a Porsche 911 of some variety. I'm not a Porsche guy, but what it did do is it put me in my tracks. It stopped me straight away. And when you walk over and you find out the details about this car, they really do blow you away. One of the gentlemen here on the stand were telling me that the original chassis and the metalwork on this car is the original car, therefore it's been to the original title that the car left the factory with, but it has been completely reimagined, from the window frame to the widened carbon body front and rear to even the track. A lot of Porsches nowadays have a wider track on the rear and a smaller one on the front. This car is completely square, front to rear, completely tracked on tram lines. This thing is very special. And with the purple and black carbon, to some people they love it, to some people they're not so happy. But I love the fact the gloss carbon met with the satin carbon is a new edge that Sema wasn't ready for. Let's go for a look around. Sema would not be complete without bumping into one of my good friends. Bogey here is responsible for one of the most amazing things here stateside. Not only is she an absolutely amazing mechanic, gets her hands dirty and knows everything within every detail, every blueprint. You're an absolute mind of education. It's amazing.
You flatter me, thank you.
The truth sets you free, I was once told, right? You've been working with these guys here, Built for the Future Scholarship. Talk to me a little bit about that. You know, in England we have something called an apprenticeship, so it's the same sort of thing. And people's accreditation is really noticed in England. You can't work on cars without accreditation.
Yeah.
Here in America, it's a little bit different, right?
It's a little different. We don't have any like national certification. We've got voluntary certifications, but we don't have any formalized apprenticeship programs or anything like that. And schooling has become really, really expensive.
They've got rid of shop in most colleges and high schools and stuff, right?
Yeah, they really have. There are some programs still, but like to go to a trade program after high school, it's really expensive.
Wow, okay.
And so a lot of companies are putting their money where their mouth is. We've got a trade deficit. We know we need more people. So why not put money into getting new technicians and helping them get both to school and then stay in school, because a lot of times they quit because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
So this was built by myself and Jeff Lutz and Clay Milliken.
Wow, Holden Monaro, right?
It's a GTO. I don't know what year it is.
Okay, so see, it's like a General Motors version. So in England we have the General Motors, in Australia the Holden, then we have the Vauxhall VXR. This is their kind of version, so the Pontiac GDO, right?
Pretty much.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So they did a whole bunch of stuff to it. It's gonna be raffled off.
Wow.
Or auctioned off, I should say, probably auctioned off. And then all of the proceeds from it are going to fund scholarships.
Wow.
So they're doing, CRC is doing 10 scholarships. 3 of them have been set aside to support women going into the trades.
So what you don't know, okay, Bogey here, she supports something called All Girls Garage. She's done TV shows, she's done socials. She is out there to represent the minority, these lovely ladies who are even better at retaining information, even better at checking shit, even better at dialing it in, you know? A girl considers her options and then nails it. A man nails it and then considers her options after. It's like, oh, how did I put this back together when I forgot how I took it apart?
I think he's just trying to flatter me. I don't think women make any better mechanics inherently.
Okay.
But I think because we're such a minority, the women who are in the industry, they fought hard to be there. They want it, right? Whereas a lot of guys like fall into automotive.
Yeah.
The women who are in automotive, we want it.
They live and breathe it.
We fought for it. We fight through all of sorts of barriers of entry to be here. And so we're not squandering that. So we tend to be good.
I love that. She smashed it out of the park. Where can we find you on socials?
You can find me at Bogey's Garage on Instagram and on Facebook. You can also find my shop, Girl Gang Garage, on Instagram and Facebook. And then on Motor Trend, on All Girls Garage.
And if you ever see her, come and give her a cuddle. She's absolutely amazing. She's one of the most amazing people. She's so approachable. Come say hi, come and get a photo. And we're gonna go see the rest of Sema. Bye. Oh, you good? So
stretch it out.
That's how we're gonna start it. We're going straight into this.
Let's do it.
Sema 23 has been a whirlwind. We've seen absolutely everything and stuff I'd never imagined, but it wouldn't be complete without a visit to my good friend Max Grundy.
Thanks, man.
2015 I met him. 2019 he commissioned a piece of artwork for me for the NAS Charger. But every year, man, I walk past here, it's the most, look at that, right? You turn around and you look at his artwork, the details, the crisp design. It is the most beautiful thing here at Sema, and I'm so proud of what you do,
buddy.
man.
Thank you.
How's Sema 23 for you?
It's been great. I mean, we've been moved to a new spot with the Artist Alley,
Yeah.
and it's been fantastic. The reception has been really good. The people are great as always. I mean, Sema, it's the crowd that I really enjoy. You know, everybody is here is connected in the industry. Everybody's here is a mover and shaker. You know, they've come from across the pond. They've come every direction, all over the United States. They come from everywhere. I mean, where did I see? I saw Ecuador yesterday.
Wow.
Ecuador. You know, you see all these different places, and Sema is the worldwide place where everybody gathers. And to me, that's really one of the most exciting parts about all of it. And then I sell artwork too.
I love that. I mean, every year, it's like a reunion of some of the best friends in the world. I mean, I came here in 2015, pretending I was famous in England, and then pretending I was famous in America, and now I'm doing the TV work. And now people know me, apparently, which is handy. But I get to come here, see like-minded, lovely people.
Yeah.
Max is one of my good friends. I'm going to put the link to his website below, all his socials. Next level. You should be here, like Hall of Fame. You know, this is going to be the future. We're going to remember this for the rest of our lives. It's amazing, man.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. That means a lot to me, man. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Let's go check out the rest of Sema. But yeah, have a great day.
Yes.
Sema's cars are absolutely unbelievable. They're lifted, they're lit up. They have sound systems that will blow your eyes off. But no cars are designed and put together with finesse like Ringbrothers. I came here in 2015, I'd never heard of them. I'd seen their cars, but didn't put two and two together. when I finally got to come here to the United States to see these builds, these are next level. And they're not just next level because of the colors or, you know, the little details of the bigger wheels. They're for the details that only the refined mechanic, the engineer and the designer really gets. To any untrained eye, this is a 1969 Dodge Charger, which is one of the most amazing masculine Mopars ever made. But when you step back and really realize the details and the changes, it blows you away. You have inner tubs built into the front rail, which look like they are OE. The front grille is complete carbon bespoke, but for me, one of my favorite parts have to be these louvers in the wings. Most people know that these doors here have a louver like this, the opposite way around, recessed into the door. Brought forward, you're really getting that gilled look like a fish. Then you look a little bit higher and then you notice there are no fins at all in the firewall. Well, normally you'd have rain come down, go through some fins and then be ducted out. This is completely solid. It's absolutely stunning. The wheels are layered. I believe they're a two-piece rim in gold. The brakes are absolutely massive, but you're still getting that nostalgic 70s Mopar feel because they don't look huge. Because you've got that center 5-spoke rim, it really looks so individual. The bumpers have been shortened and tucked in, and they are so tight to the bodywork that you would imagine they were the same panel, just painted differently. Walking around to the back of the car, you're looking at this redesigned interior. You still have that 1970s door card, but when you look at the seats and you look at the stitching and the design and that steering wheel that puts you on that roll and holds you tight to it, those feelings are still nostalgic to that 70s feeling, but remodernized, remastered and brought into the 21st century. When you walk around to the back of the car, we've still gone with that flat window that's recessed in. We haven't gone Daytona, you haven't gone a flake window, but you also have, around the back, some refinements that I have never seen on a 70s Charger. The rear panel is brought in to bring that number plate a little bit more deep, and the lower valance has been pulled back with the exhaust that actually comes through, a little bit similar to the 1970 Plymouth Barracuda. This car truly is one of my favorite cars here. It's absolutely stunning, brought to you with finesse, detailed to perfection, but without the last thing I'm going to show you, it would actually be the car of Sema. The hood is brought up, you have a reverse louver which also matches the side wings. The bonnet has also got that little gold detail which just brings the car together. This car for me, 10 out of 10. I mean, the minute I sat in this absolute piece of artwork, the smell, that raw hide leather is something you cannot tell, you cannot write that down. That's something you have to experience. It's a feeling which you get when you get in a 60s car that has never ever been moved. And today with that brand new leather smell, it still doesn't change. This interior to me is like no other. The single solid carbon fiber steering wheel with this aluminium center is just unbelievable. I mean, my heart's pounding. I mean, for me, when I built the NAS Charger back in 2019 and we put that NASCAR chassis in this, I wanted that manual raw feeling that made me feel like I was Dominic Toretto from Fast and Furious. And I know, you know, growing up, that the Fast and Furious franchise isn't what a lot of people love, but this for me is the original Dukes of Hazzard. It is those early nostalgic films that put your heart in the car. I'm that generation that has moved forward, but when you get to sit in a car like this at Sema, I mean, all the hairs on my arm have stood up. The center carbon line, that pistol grip hasn't changed. This has been completely remastered and redesigned, not only to replicate the original piece. That handle there is the one thing that stops you and changes you and drags you up the road, pulls you back in these remodeled seats and makes you feel like you are really at the realm and the helm of that crazy horse. When I look around this car and I feel these seats and the details, this company could go down as the best car modifying company in the world. When I build a car and it is such small and such little details that I've been to it, you really realize that if you had all the money in the world and you had the best mechanics in the world, I still don't think you could come up with something just as beautiful as the Ringbrothers do. It's been amazing. It has been absolutely honored. I'm going to go over a few more details which I didn't pick up the first time round. I didn't pick up the second time round, the third time round. I actually had to have a representative of Ringbrothers actually come grab me and go, "Did you notice this? Did you notice that?" And I said, "No, I didn't." And I think that is the best thing about this company. Next level, always smashing it out of the park and always even making the Brits smile. It's amazing. Let's go over those details right now. I'm here with Ryan Fielding, and he is the head fabricator of this absolutely stunning car. I mean, I've been walking around this 3 or 4 times. I picked up on quite a few details that have been changed, but I want you to go over and just blow my mind like you just did, and just tell me how you reimagined this car, because to anyone out there that wasn't a massive Mopar guy but still knew the car, this car looks like an OE car.
Yeah,
like it's beautiful.
Yeah, and that's the goal. You know, and we did so many things to this car. Literally every single panel's been touched or manipulated in some fashion. But some of the big things are things that we, you know, really took as design elements from the beginning, knowing that we're going to do some variation of this. A lot of those things we didn't really know how we were going to get there till it was time to do it. And then we looked at, like, all right, what do we want this to look like? How do we want it to perform? So one of the things we did is on the door, they would have had those scallop indentations in the door. We wanted to move scoops onto the fender.
They look like gills, you know, like a predator, you know, sort of.
And one of the things that anytime we do anything on one of our cars, we want it to be functional, not just bolt the scoop onto the side of the fender and call it a scoop. So they actually do direct air from the wheel well and engine compartment then out the scoop.
So that cools the brakes down a lot quicker.
It cools the brakes, it lets engine heat and header heat get out of the car, because everything's so tight in there, there's not a lot of room for that to go anywhere. So we made a whole new door skin for this door, extending
You made a new door skin as well?
Made a new door skin.
Wow.
Extended the body lines that they had stock and brought them all the way through the door.
Okay.
Picked them up on the fender, and then we had these scoops that we needed to build and put in. We also moved the front wheel ahead 2 inches.
Okay.
Got rid of the marker light. We extended the fender down about 6 inches to that splitter.
Wow, because normally the fender would come in here quite a bit, right?
Yep. And then what we did is this body line, because this is going to be a little bit lower, I wanted that to run at the exact same angle as that bumper.
Okay.
So when we put this body line in the fender, we made a new fender skin from this body line down. We just started.
So you haven't just chopped this up and glued it all back together. You made a full new skin.
Just made a whole new skin just for that reason, because it was going to be so cut up by the time we were done. We're like, you know what? Let's just make a new skin.
The amount of time you're going to waste in waiting for it to cool down and play around with it and try and get it looking right, you might as well start.
And at the end of the day, it's a black car, and the less seams that you're welding 100%. And grinding on, the better. So we just made a whole new skin. When we did this body line here on the fender, I changed that angle because we knew what we wanted that bumper to be. So if you were to have a 69 stock bumper sitting here next to it,
that is ugly.
You would find that this comes way down.
Okay, so it's actually a lot wider as well.
Correct.
You don't really get to see much of the valance on a normal Charger, because it's normally like a 2-bolt-on ugly thing that holds a couple of bumps. But this is actually like a mouth now. You've actually you're really diverting the air in. You're keeping it out of this lower area and just directing it through.
100%. So yeah, we kind of figured what we wanted that angle to be, and then we mimicked that in that fender. Along with that, on the bumper, when they're on the factory car, they're sticking out quite a ways.
Yep.
You know, they were kind of out here and they were out this way. So we wanted to tuck that into the grill, and in doing so, that bumper had to get cut up every which way from Sunday and reshaped, reformed. It had in the center a cutout for the license plate.
Yep.
Not running a front plate on this car, so filled that in. And then on the bottom, I brought the metal back. Normally it just kind of went around the corner and stopped.
Yep.
I brought it further under, and the same thing on the top, brought it all the way back to that grill, sanded everything, filed it, got it, you know, ready for chrome.
You got it perfect. I mean, for me, this may be the silliest comment I may say, but you know, like on a Chrysler 300, that big mouth that was the bigger version, and unlike a 70 Charger that is like a ball, their bumpers are a bit more like a point.
Yep.
It feels like you've got a bit of Chrysler 300-esque in there, but also you've got that kind of nose of the Superbird shape to it. So you're directing that air for aerodynamics.
100%. You know, and when we reshaped that bumper, being that we were able to change it to be whatever we want it to be, right? Yep. It was one of those situations, just like we talked before, where until you're into it, you don't know exactly what you want it to look like, right? So you get halfway into it, things are kind of in place, and you stand back like, oh, let's push it in a little bit more, let's bring it out. You know, we played a lot with this tilt and where this angle is, so the stock angle and where this one is are different. The other one kind of tipped out a lot more, and we wanted to keep kind of everything in a nice line.
You're following the same contour and shape of the nose of the hood.
And one of the other things too is this, we belled this a little bit more than factory. They were kind of stamped flat.
It's like a dog dish. It's really pretty.
Some shape to it, exactly.
So to the side, to the untrained eye, it looks as beautiful as like a leaf on a flower. You know, you
amazing
sort of got that
compliment.
absolute stunning, like natural look, but on a car that is a muscle car, yet still has that muscle, manly-esque look to it, but still that beauty of nature. You know, does that make sense?
Absolutely makes sense. You know, everything that we do, we try to mix form and function, of course.
Yeah.
But aesthetics, you know, it has to, no matter what, it has to look right. And you know, we spend a lot of time kind of, you know, examining things and then just tweaking them. You know, there's times on that bumper where we put maybe 2 degrees of shift on it, like, and look at that for a little while. I'm like, oh no, come back just a
It's
tick.
the details that pay off. And you know,
Absolutely.
to the people that don't know, when you come to a car like this and you realize just how perfect it is and you can't find anything wrong, and that's because needless hours of sitting there with a beer and just looking at it and going, nope, and then you go back to one of those and go, actually, it works, because sometimes there's no way further and you've already gone past the good one.
100%.
Under the hood, for me, you know, obviously had an original Charger, but the panel work that you've done is designed in such a way that it looks OE, like it's the most beautiful, like valance here, that is all recessed in like a pressed piece of like aluminium or sheet, which would come from a factory. You've got that OE kind of look.
So,
but is that all different pieces?
So Sean Hildebrandt, one of our fabricators, he did an amazing job under the hood of this car. The thing that blows people away, this piece at front of the supercharger, that's not cast, that's sheet metal. So that the stock supercharger stopped right here. From here forward was made by hand out of 100 thou aluminum. So he would have started with this top shape, got that in line, and then made this shape here, welded the two together, and ground it, sanded it, and it just kept going. So that's
not billet aluminium that has been machined CNC. That is handmade,
hand formed. Valve covers the same. So this was CNC machined, the 426 on a block, and then we made the valve covers out of 100 thou sheet metal aluminum, and then grafted that in. Same with these. Same with this piece. All of these components in it here are all hand-formed aluminum.
It's unbelievable. I mean, on a normal Dodge Charger, they have a panel which is bolted in, which is your inner wheel well. And it's basically just designed, you see the ugly suspension pulling through like a horseshoe. What you've got here is it looks so OE and natural that it's just stunning, isn't it? You've got all the inner buckets here, the inner wheel wells, that are like tubbed, that kind of tubbed feel. But I don't think I've really seen that tubbed kind of look on the front of a car normally, you know? It's always about showing off that suspension, but here it's that modern day equivalent of all the wires and all the gumph hidden inside here, but you've still got an American Mopar muscle sat there.
Yeah, and you know, and with these inner liners, those tubs, part of the reason that we, you know, space constriction with a elephant under the hood on one of these cars, and the size tire that we're running with the suspension that we're running requires a lot of room, and that's one of the biggest challenges always, is how do we make it work? Can the tires turn all the way, right? So going with that and just wanting to keep everything kind of on the same plane, have some things round, have some things sharp angle, you know, we just play with those design elements until we come out with something that we like. You know, one of the other things that people don't really notice until they start looking closer is, you know, even our caps are billet aluminum, and that one's got boost juice on it, so that was all CNC machined.
Whoa.
And then a stock radiator cap inlaid to the CNC machined, into the CNC machine cover.
Wow. So what you've got here, like he's just mentioned, is not only have you got the most beautiful details and designs, you've still got that OE item here, which is gonna make it work and be function. And if it gets a little bit warm, it can blow off and let that steam go. And you haven't lost the functionality, you've just made it more pretty, you know?
You know, Dodge and you know, the factories, they know what they're doing when it comes to stuff like this, right? So why redesign the wheel when
They've had
we
60
know
years of making it
know that it works right, but we just want to make it look cooler.
Exactly.
So, and that's what we do with so many things.
Even the radiator cap, even the steering fluid cap.
Absolutely.
All these little parts are just so perfect. I mean, is there a point where like you just have to stop? Because you could be here for 3 or 4 years, like even the hood, like this should be like one piece all the way down, and you're looking at the hood, and I've just noticed, is that carbon fiber?
Carbon fiber hood.
It just keeps blowing me away, every aspect. Like I was trying to work out why they went with the carbon fiber in the mouth, right? And for me, I was like, oh, but they've not put it anywhere else. And I love that fact of keep looking.
Yeah.
Keep looking.
Well, I'll tell you something about that grill. So we were having a conversation one night, mid-build, right? So everything's raw metal, but the fenders are on, the factory grill was in, and they all have kind of a dip in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
And that just comes down to how they mounted. They only had several mounting points, and wherever there wasn't a screw, it kind of dipped.
Yep.
Like, how do we come around that? And Mike and myself and Sean were talking, and we're like, you could do it in carbon, right? And we weren't sure yet if you're going to paint it, if it's going to remain raw. We're like, well, let's do it. So we scanned it, and then made this carbon grill. But more so, the trim that goes on that grill surround, normally it's 7 pieces of stamped stainless or stamped aluminum. They lay over each other, and they really don't fit together.
They're never
that
good.
well.
They're never right. Yeah.
We have this beautiful carbon grill. We couldn't put that trim back on it. So we started with 538 pounds of billet between the fixture and the final piece to machine a 1-piece billet grill surround. So this trim is 1-piece billet, 538 pounds down to 2.3 pounds, and then chrome plated.
That's over a 1/4 ton of aluminium just there. And I mean, you must have still probably taken away 90% of that too,
Absolutely.
just to be left with such a beautiful art form. And it was a 1 piece. Was there a few goes at it to get it right?
Nope, got it. You know, and that was one of the things, like, all right, it's out of the machine, and we had the carbon grill sitting there. Like, all right, here we go. And it sat right on, and it was seamless.
It's like that feeling of a bucket falling into a bucket,
Yes,
you know, like
yes.
that perfection.
Yep.
This car to me is everything. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I've been walking around here and I'm very fond of some of the crazy things. Like Richard Rawlins done the Testarossa electric, and I've seen some beautiful Toyota Corolla over there that's been reimagined with carbon. But no one puts as much attention to detail, dedication, and heart and love into anything here than the Ringbrothers.
Oh,
you know?
thank you so much. I mean, everybody in the shop is so passionate about every car we build, every product we make. Like, everybody lives and breathes cars, right? We're in it for the passion, and we hope that it comes through in our builds.
It's funny how, like, the American dream after World War II, people came back with these Jeeps and these military vehicles, and they've been in the war, they've been through some crazy stuff, and they want to go faster. They change all their Jeeps up and their 32 Fords, and they start making custom cars, and it's something to do with their kids or whatever. They didn't have TVs and stuff back then. And then, like, the 70s come around, and you're still, like, doing the General Lee thing, and you're playing around. But you've never ever gone away with a car here that I've ever seen without taking the original muscle feel or love for that car away. You just reimagined it in a Ringbrothers way, and I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
Pleasure.
you so much.
Thank you, sir.
This has been the best SEMA ever. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
And go check them out.
Anytime.
Amazing people.
Thank you so much.
You could spend all day here. Even the most well-educated Mopar specialist could be here, and he still misses details like I did, and I'm no expert. When you walk around the front of the car, I did mention this had a carbon fiber grille, but what I didn't know is this grille itself is actually made out of 1 piece of aluminum, or aluminium as we call it in England, to give you this bespoke OE feel, but refined in such a way that the beauty and the lines are just brought out. It makes your heart pound just to think how much hard work went into this. When you walk around to the driver's side, and both of these fins on either side, there is a badge on this side. Okay, I think the driver's side are from England, so normally on the right-hand side. We're gonna go over to the other side, which some people say is wrong, some people say is right. But when you come around here, there is a badge just down here, which I'm gonna zoom into on a cutaway. It has 24 karat gold in it. The doors are finished perfectly. You could never tell that a 1968 to 70 Dodge Charger left the factory this way. This car's absolutely beautiful. Each of these aluminum grills that are inserted are milled pieces of billet aluminium. This car is amazing. I'm gonna be here for the rest of the day trying to find these refinements, and I'm still not gonna catch them all. Guys, it's been amazing. Please go check out Ringbrothers. SEMA 2023 has been amazing. I'm gonna go online, I'm gonna book my ticket. If you've never been to SEMA, you need to get here, because every hair on my body is standing up, because this show cannot be missed. Thanks for watching another episode on Make or Break. SEMA's been a blast, but I'm telling you, we got something special coming up for you real soon. We're gonna blow you away. Thanks again. I'm gonna go on a flight, I'm going back home. Thanks for watching.